Pompeo heads over to New Delhi for a 3-day visit. The aim is to set the stage for a meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Donald Trump at the upcoming G20. There are disagreements on trade tariffs, data storage regulations, and arms sales that need to be ironed out, as Neha Punya explains.
Mike Pompeo's visit comes at a time when Indo-US ties have touched a new low. In the beginning of June, the US withdrew for India a specialized tariff regime called the Generalized System of Preferences, or GSP. This allowed more than 2,000 Indian products to enter the United States duty-free. Now, America's contention is that India isn't giving enough market access to its firms and that Delhi's insistence on data localization is hurting US companies. India responded with retaliatory tariffs on 28 American products after delaying this move for nearly a year. Experts warn that while this is a strong message from New Delhi, with Mr. Trump focused on his re-election bid, a resolution to this trade standoff might not happen during the span of this particular visit.
While there is a natural partnership, India and the US are natural allies. India is, in a sense, towing the line when it comes to oil and dealing with Iran and things like that. There has got to be a point at which the line in the sand is drawn and it can go no further. So is trade going to be that line? I don't know. And if it is going to be that line, then it's going to require some extremely deft diplomacy to manage this, because I don't think the United States is in a position right now or is interested in looking at other international partners for giveaways on the economy and on trade.
The US is also exerting pressure on India to stop the purchase of arms from Russia, including the deal for a purchase of S-400 surface-to-air missile systems that Moscow and Delhi signed last year. While India is hoping to win a waiver that would allow that deal to go ahead, it's also reportedly in talks with the Trump regime to sign a major defense deal worth $3 billion. India is likely to use the defense partnership to quell American concerns on the unfavorable trade deficit Mr. Trump has raised repeatedly. Ongoing US-Iran tensions are also a concern for India's strategic interests in Tehran. And India, which imports 84% of its oil needs, is worried about the impact of this dispute on the supply disruptions and price rises.
If there is a wider conflict, it is catastrophic for us. 60% of our oil comes from there. 7 million of our citizens work in the Saudi Peninsula. That kind of disruption is what is extremely worrisome. It's not clear what American policy is. Mr. Pompeo has one view, Mr. Bolton has another view, Trump himself has another view.
Secretary Pompeo's visit is also expected to lay the groundwork ahead of the Modi-Trump meeting at the sidelines of the G20 summit in Osaka later this week. The last time that Mr. Modi met President Trump was in 2017, and since then Mr. Trump has often attacked Prime Minister Modi personally for India's high tariffs. And given Mr. Trump's unpredictability, only time will tell whether Indo-US ties can weather this storm. Neha Punya, CNA, New Delhi.